My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Well, if you've been around real estate investing for any time at all, you've probably heard about self-directed retirement funds, self-directed IRAs in the States, self-directed RRSPs in Canada. Basically, it's a way of taking your hard-earned retirement money and getting real estate returns on it and minimizing your taxes. Well, today, our special guest, Josh Plave, is an expert on that. He is an active real estate investor, a syndicator, and he's kind of developed this niche in helping his investors, especially the passive investors, minimize the whack they get from the tax man from their investments. So Josh, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
All right. Well, first things first, let's kind of zoom out. Let's take a look at the active real estate investing side of things, or the active investing side of things. We're the middle of the year, 2025. What are you invested in? What are you syndicating these days, Josh, or what are you involved in?
These days it's a lot of nothing, to be honest. It's been quiet for a bit.
Yeah.
We're just kind of managing and maintaining the deals we have and making sure that we're optimizing them and trying to work through these challenges in certain markets of increased supply and vacancy and rent falling a little bit, and just making sure that we're able to protect the capital, best prepared for the next 12 to 18 months as we ride this out. And that's kind of been the focus essentially for the last, I'd say, year or so.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. A lot of people are in that boat, that's for sure. So you've been investing in multifamily. Are you looking at other things as well? Other avenues?
Yeah. So I've been keeping my eye towards a lot of different startups. Tech startups have been an interesting opportunity. They align pretty well with what I do, and so I think they work pretty well for a retirement investor, just because they're mostly focused on that equity multiplier. Most people don't require a lot of cash flow, and multifamily and commercial real estate does help in that regard. But there are certain investments that make a lot more sense for certain people who have certain risk profiles that they're willing to
If
invest.
retirement's a little further out for them, perhaps.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you've really dove into this whole niche within a niche of helping your investors minimize their tax consequences when they are using their self-directed funds to invest, whether it's in real estate or startups or what have you. So maybe kind of zoom us out and tell us big picture what that looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. You're the first person to kind of point that out. Is a niche within a niche within a niche.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my focuses has been the study of a thing called UBIT, which is unrelated business income tax. And so even though it is a retirement plan, you can actually have taxes within that retirement plan based on certain actions and business you are undertaking within the retirement plan itself.
So I would imagine this catches a lot of people by surprise. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah,
They think
absolutely.
that they're investing their self-directed funds, retirement funds, in something that will grow tax deferred, and they're getting whacked a lot earlier than they thought they would. Is that the bottom line?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're not prepared, you don't know exactly what you're getting into, and it might harm the returns you were expecting in the end.
What would be an example of something like that? Like, especially, a lot of our folks are in the real estate space and syndications and whatnot. So where could that bite somebody in the butt in real estate?
Yeah, so this is mostly going to come up in two different scenarios. The most common one will be when you're investing into real estate and it's utilizing any kind of leverage or debt. And so if you're taking on any kind of,
Which is kind of most real estate, right?
yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of self-directed retirement investors buy things just in pure cash. And so that is an approach a lot of people take, just buying like an Airbnb or a single family home or something. But if you are investing in any kind of property and it's using a loan, then you are paying taxes on that because you're using outside capital. So the thinking behind it really is the IRS is okay in America with using outside capital, but it's non-tax deferred capital. And so let's say that the property you invest in earns $4 for the year and you use 75% leverage, well, you have to pay taxes on three of the dollars that you made, and one of the dollars is still just from your retirement account because 25% of the capital was tax deferred, but the rest wasn't. And so you pay
Ooh.
taxes on the non-tax deferred portion of the income.
Now, does that affect anybody if they're investing in a typical syndication type deal?
Yep, absolutely.
Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? Learning something every day. I was not aware of that. And I think probably a lot of investors are not aware of that. So, yeah. So, are people getting like that? That's pretty significant. Like, that's going to make a huge impact on your returns.
Yeah, and it can be. But the nice thing with syndications, it just depends on how prepared you are. With syndications, because there are, and with at least with commercial real estate and multifamily properties, there's typically enough losses associated with it
Mm,
that you can actually use, if you're getting taxed on 75% of it, you can use 75% of the depreciation and the expenses and everything like that. The
right.
tax deferred portion you can't use, but anything for outside capital, you can use that. And so it actually helps offset a good portion of it.
Okay.
And just basically you need to make sure that you're filing, it's called a 990T in America. You need to file that every single year so that you basically you bank your losses ahead of time. And then once the tax bill comes, when the deal sells eventually, you
Mhm.
have that those losses prepared to offset that.
Okay. Very good. So, where are you seeing people get bit in the butt most often? Like, where does this really affect folks?
Well, it's especially in that situation where people aren't aware of it and they haven't
Mm,
been filing their taxes ahead of time. And so if they're not prepared and they don't have this bank of losses, then yeah, they get bit pretty hard at the end because they might either have, if they don't refile their taxes, they have this large tax they have to come up with. But the larger situations here are ones where you're going to be having high leverage opportunities. Um, don't really exist anymore in this day and age, but there a few years ago when people were doing 80, 85% LTV deals, those involved significant UBIT because you're paying taxes on it on the majority of the capital on the gains. So that's a huge one. And then the other one would just be the other main UBIT source is when you buy and operate businesses within a retirement account. And so that's on the more, there's two tax tables that you end up using. And ordinary income, like the cash flow that you get from things, that's up to 37%. And so if you own a business and it's not structured properly, you can ultimately end up paying up to 37% tax rate on the income you're making in your business. Uh,
On income or on profits?
well, that I guess would be profits, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Income
Okay.
to the
Yeah. Net income. Yeah.
out.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it can be significant. On the capital gain side, they cap out at 20%, so it's not as steep.
Hmm.
And that's why I like to kind of look for investments that are more focused on the gain side of things. But yeah, if you're investing in a property or in a business that's focused on cash flow, you need to figure out the tax structure behind that. Maybe make sure that it's a C corporation that's going to be paying the taxes ahead of time. If that's the case, and you're just owning shares in the C corp, you don't have to worry about that as much. So there are certain ways you can, work it. You just need to know ahead of time.
So, Josh, sounds like you know a heck of a lot about taxes. Is that kind of your background, or is this just kind of become a personal passion of yours?
It's just a personal passion hobby that I ended up inheriting a couple different retirement accounts, and I needed to figure out what to do with them. So I spent the better part of 2 or 3 years really diving down and educating myself on the deepest corners of the tax code I could I could find essentially.
Oh, it sounds like fascinating
Oh
reading.
yeah, I don't know why I did to myself.
So these days, Josh, you're kind of helping people out with training and education around these tax things. So tell me a little bit about that and like who is the ideal person for this kind of training? Like where does this make sense?
Yeah, I mean, so what I've been focusing on, because in my experience as I've been dealing with investors, it's I've noticed that a lot of it has been centered around education while I'm on the phone with them. We
Hmm.
talk about the opportunities, but a lot of it is discussing what it's like to transfer money from their old custodian to a new custodian, what it's going to be like in the tax season, the ways they need to sign certain documentation. There are a lot of little aspects here and there, and it takes a lot of it can take a lot of time to learn all these different aspects.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to compile those into essential resources as best as I can. One thing I should mention actually is that long ago, for my own purpose, and now I've made it free use for everybody. I developed a UBIT calculator, and so I can plug in any commercial real estate opportunity, and probably also non-commercial real estate, but plug it into the calculator, and you can get a good feel, like a ballpark number for what the UBIT impact would be on an
Hmm.
investment. But yeah, just kind of understanding what the holistic picture is of being a self-directed retirement investor. It's all information that you can find out there. It's taken me the better part of 3, 4 years to find all these details, and just trying to compile them into a central place for people really been beneficial in, kind of just communicating a little more effectively, I would say.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. So, Josh, I'm sure there's going to be some folks listening or watching to this episode going, okay, I've got a vague idea of what this guy was talking about here, but I think I need to know more. In which case, where can folks go to kind of find out more and perhaps find out about your course?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go to learntoselfdirect.com, you'll get an idea of what I can offer you I offer a course around this. And it not only will teach you the ins and outs and the basics of everything, but then, as I mentioned, the operational things, how to sign documentation, what to expect on your K1s and your tax stuff, and then also how to position yourself and analyze deals up front and save yourself potentially thousands of dollars in tax on your gains.
Awesome. And what's that URL again?
Learntoselfdirect.com.
Perfect. Josh, thanks so much for being on the show. This has been a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
All right, everybody, take care, and we will see you on the next one. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewsyou.com.